Israel. In this video, I will be reminding you that we as the black nation don't have a government to establish and protect us in life. And I will be encouraging you that we are chosen by God to establish our own private government that will eventually sustain the people of all nations in the last days. Now, as we know, the sole purpose of government is to establish and protect the existence of a thing, especially man. The last enemy of man is death, of emotion, of pleasure or pain, of insanity, in his spirit looking through his eyes. And people as spirits are protected from feeling too much emotion of insanity by governments providing the resource and infrastructure to help govern how people feel and think inside of imagination. Without the infrastructure of people, places, and things around us in society to help us be what we are as spirits inside of imagination, imagination doesn't work. That has been the problem of our people. No resource or infrastructure to support decent imaginations. We, as a people, are cursed by God using imagination. And being cursed by God, we have nothing coming from man except oppression. When God said in Deuteronomy 28:29 that no man shall save thee, God is telling us that as long as we are cursed under Deuteronomy 29:19, blessing ourselves in imagination, we don't have a government to save us, to establish and protect us from feeling too much emotion of pleasure and pain of insanity. And so, the inherited emotions of slavery forces many of us to not only forget or ignore household rules and laws of society, but also the laws of God. That is because imagination is a private, extrinsic law that gives man a right to do whatever he pleases in life, even if he does things that destroy his own life. And the purpose of government is to keep man as a spirit from doing such a thing inside of imagination. And governments around the world cannot help us as a people in this area, or any people as far as that matters. You know why? When man's basic needs are not met, man feels emotion of pleasure or pain of death in his spirit looking through his eyes to the extreme. He feels emotion of pleasure and not think properly in life. He feels emotion of pain, and it causes him to not want anything more to do with this life and to care less how he thinks in life. That sounds like what governments around the world are doing to the blacks of Judah. This isn't anyone's fault today, but the governments around the world have done nothing for the blacks of Jacob except oppressed and hindered us. How? God said no man will save us. So, by us as a people, the only people that God cursed and punished for walking after imagination, expecting for man, governments to help us, to save us, man has only kept the blessing of God from us and the curses of God up on us by their governments, emotionally forcing us as a people to imagine ways to survive the ancient injustice, violence, and crime against us as a people. And as long as the injustice of governments can fill us with emotions that force us to imagine ways to cope with the injustice, the more we drown in the sea of sin, imagination. We need our own private government to establish and protect our minds and our souls looking through our eyes. It is the emotion of pleasure and pain of death of insanity that man must be saved from, which everyone is feeling as judgment, but blacks are holding the hottest end of the judgment. We need private government to institute private law against imagination. Again, imagination is giving people a right to do whatever they please in life, and there is no law out there against it. That is, to instruct people how to not imagine in life. In fact, that has been man's excuse for hurting, harming, and killing man, to keep from dying in his own sins. None of us knew imagination was sin, or understood how imagination forced us inside of it to do wrong in life. Now that the world is being corrected that imagination is sin, to fulfill prophecy, the soul that sins, it will die. Therefore, it is time for Israel to walk in prophecy of Isaiah chapter 11, but especially in verse 10, where it says, "And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people." It is time for us to walk in this prophecy. What else could the ensign be besides the blueprint of how the invisible spirit of man looks and works? As we know, an ensign is a flag or banner, but in this case, the ensign will be made of glass and plastic, merry-go-round size working models of how the spirit of man works, displayed in black communities of the people of Judah everywhere. Now, all nations will buy this knowledge about the spirit of man to fulfill prophecy of the nations bringing us their wealth. Every black of Jacob will receive a reparation sum of $1 million. You know why? Saving and defending the soul, especially of the offspring of black slaves, is an expensive endeavor, and I will spare no expense. It's a good time to be black, saved out of the time of Jacob's trouble. The Spirit of truth has come and has formed as the Spirit of Christ, who has revealed what sin is and has redeemed us from the curse of sin in the law, meaning that the law cannot kill us anymore. Our Lord, the Christ, has returned in the flesh of the seed of David again, and is upon his throne. The throne of the Lord is wherever the words about our spirit are spoken, for it is the voice of the Lord. Now, in order for me to start establishing a government, we have to do what our forefathers had to do before David was their king. Anoint or approve of me as David. 2 Samuel chapter 2 verses 4 says, "And the men of Judah came, and there they anointed David king over the house of Judah." We must walk in this word again in order to walk in prophecy concerning Christ's return and the seed of David. Therefore, I present this proposal to the masses of Judah. Fund this private government of God. With everyone sending whatever gift they can, it will allow me to organize in order to accommodate the Spirit of Christ, our King.